Hello, kia ora, g'day, I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your Australia-only forecast for the next 7 days ahead. I'm still off screen, apologies, but I just have to say again, thank you so much for the incredible comments. Sorry I can't reply to you all, but I really do appreciate everyone that's written to me since I had my accident. I've had the stitches out, the bandages are next. Hopefully I'll be back on screen again before we are done with the month of May, but I have to be off screen still for now. Let's have a look at the forecast. I've got the green hand to simulate where I'm pointing. So let's kick off with the eastern side because low pressure out here around Brisbane is going to be lingering around. It is dropping southwards, so New South Wales and Queensland getting showers off the sea, some rain as well, where it extends for longer than half an hour. That's what the difference is between rain and showers, basically. And we'll be seeing some heavy thundery falls forming inland through inland parts of Queensland and inland parts of New South Wales. So thunderstorms in the mix, but the main feature driving the weather is actually the high pressure belt moving in from Western Australia and also the high pressure belt over towards the North Island of New Zealand. And these are all sort of linking up, but there is a gap south of that low. The gap is in the southeast corner of Australia. So New South Wales, Canberra, and Victoria and Tasmania are in the more vulnerable area, and you're about to see why. Let's get into the forecast. So here on Friday, this is towards the end of the day, shows 24 hours of rainfall. So you can see here in the green shading through inland parts of Queensland, maybe 15 millimetres, maybe even 20 millimetres if you get a thunderstorm in that mix. There are heavier downpours coastally as well. As you move down into New South Wales, you'll see that low now spinning off the coast of New South Wales, not Queensland anymore. The low is not very deep, but there is some heavy rain passing Lord Howe Island. Norfolk Island's just got a few showers with the northeasterlies. So these showers that you see inland, pale blue, so not a huge amount on the key down here at the bottom of the screen. You're talking about 0.2 to just 5 or 9 millimetres in the blue shading. But if you get a thunderstorm, that could break that. And it will move around a little bit, but this is the forecast here. Further to the south in the coastal areas from Victoria to South Australia and some parts of southern Western Australia, there are some showers coming around this big high to the south of you. But look at all the southerlies and the blue line here. So look what happens on Saturday. The blue line comes in, and I mentioned this yesterday. The blue line measures air thickness. And so you'll usually see this south of Australia and south of New Zealand. It shows where the Antarctic air comes up, and it's not on the surface, but higher up in the atmosphere, several kilometres up. So this means it's taking a real bite out of the atmosphere. So everyone in the southeast corner of in the southeast corner of South Australia and right across the southern half of Victoria, you will notice that temperature drop and the showers coming through. If you're looking for rain relief, 5 millimetres is maybe all you'll be getting. So this is not a big rainmaker, but showers and wintry weather. And because of that blue line, that means that you could be seeing some snow flurries at the highest elevations around Tasmania. It may not be very much, and also around the Australian Alps. Elsewhere, easterlies blowing through. It is fairly warm but dry and a little bit windy from Alice Springs all the way out into Western Australia with those easterlies blowing through here. The only areas where it's still tropical and humid, the top end and the far north of Queensland. Into Sunday, those areas don't change much, still got that tropical weather, but the big high pressure zone just south of Adelaide, that is the main driver of all of Australia's weather at the moment. It expands all the way up to the top end. It's got these easterlies that blow as a southeasterly for much of Queensland and New South Wales, and that blows right across to Western Australia where it comes out as either an easterly or a northeasterly, or perhaps here around Perth to Albany, more of a north to northwesterly. So these are warm winds, but they're dry. And remember, if I'm not talking about your area, there's probably not a lot of weather going on. I focus more on where the weather is changing and happening, and that's what we're seeing here. So apart from a few coastal showers in Queensland, nothing to really write home about, the downpours are between Port Macquarie and Sydney area. And you could be getting some heavier falls, 20, 30 millimetres, and still some thunderstorms in the mix as we get that colder airflow pushing in to Canberra and other areas here into the southeast. Still got windy westerlies blowing through to Tassie, but dry for most of the more populated areas. Let's go into next week. So like I say, the high pressure system, that's the main driver of your weather. It is parked firmly over the southeast here, just starting to exit out into the Tasman Sea and leaving Bass Strait. Bass Strait should be pretty calm if you're sailing around there, although the waves might still be a bit big because of the westerly flow that's been pushing through, but the winds won't be too bad. They'll pick up a little bit the further south you go into Tasmania. But the main feature is this heavy rain. It's north of Sydney by the looks of it. Now I say by the looks of it because high pressure breathes like lungs do. You'll see it when it's animated. The high pressure system here kind of moves in and out, and it expands these isobars that you see further north or further south. And that means that the rain that's stuck in here with heavy falls, there could be up to 100 millimeters of rain falling in some of these areas in just a day, but that could move north or south a wee bit from where we are right now. Keep an eye on your local forecast. That will help make a bit more sense of it. Over on the other side, the southwest corner here, there's another big high pressure zone moving in. There'd be an H here, but it's just not big enough to show up, but that's a high pressure zone moving in. Let's go through to Tuesday of next week. So there is the high. It is moving along quite nicely to the south here, but when I say nicely, I mean it's moving through at a speed. Not nice if you want if you want rain, because it's not going to bring a lot of rain. Dry weather is dominating pretty much all of Australia here on Tuesday. So not a lot to talk about, but the main features are hitting some more populated places. Melbourne, for example, and everyone between Melbourne and Adelaide in the coastal areas getting those showers. Another colder southerly. This is what we mean by the autumn weather pattern moving through. It's not bringing enough rain yet for those that need it. I know some of you really desperately want to end the drought. This is not a drought breaker, but it does bring a little bit of rain relief, or shower relief, I should say, to the coastal areas, especially into Victoria. And some parts of Tassie as well, getting another pulse of cold air again. So another wintry southwesterly looks likely to arrive. But still, the main feature on the map, these downpours. Mostly south of the border of Queensland, going all the way down to about Port Macquarie. But like I say, these high pressure zones, they breathe like lungs. So if this high shrinks a little bit, that rain drops southwards. If the high expands back, then that rain could push further up towards Queensland. So it's worth keeping an eye on. By the middle of next week, we might be seeing a low forming again, another one deepening. So this is still in the question mark box. It's not 100% locked in. But if this does form next week, this could spark severe weather. We're seeing a line of rain here. It's very narrow. This is definitely not locked in. But if this rain forms and pushes inland, you're talking about 150 millimeters in just a day. Very windy weather, a squash zone between the low pressure here near Lord Howe Island, where it is raining, heavy rain there likely, and the big high pressure zone pushing into South Australia and coming into Victoria. So that's going to make for windy southeasterlies. They'll be possibly severe gale in coastal parts of New South Wales. If this map holds true to Wednesday next week, severe gales anywhere from Port Macquarie all the way down to the Victoria border, and obviously through the mountains, and then that will push through to those of you inland, hugging the hills along Victoria and New South Wales. Further to the south, Tassie's still in that more wintry snap, although it's not overly cold. It won't be snowing, but showers around there, and everyone else has those windy easterlies blowing from east to west, making it dry and hot for many of you. On the big picture here, the thing I want you to notice most of all is how dry it is in the Australia area. So this is the area here that I'm circling. Most of Australia and out to the west with pretty much no rain for the next week, or sorry, for next Thursday. Pretty much no rain coming through there, but that heavy rain still coming into New South Wales. Now I've zoomed out on purpose because, like I say, the high pressure systems around New Zealand, Tasmania, and South Australia and the Great Australian Bight, that is going to control that rain that you see. So whether it comes further southwards into Victoria or gets pushed further northwards closer to Queensland, that is not yet locked in this far out. So this is worth keeping an eye on because of the heavy rain risks, the thunderstorm risks, and the gale force and severe gale force wind risks that come with this. And then it fans out right across the rest of Australia. So if I'm not talking much about your part of Australia, you can see here, it's a big, strong easterly flow that's usually dry and not a lot to talk about. Further out to the west here over the Indian Ocean, that's another high pressure zone, like a brick wall in the sky, slowing down these big stormy systems that are south of Africa. So there's still a fair bit of settled weather yet to move through, but we've got low pressure off the western coast here, low pressure off the eastern coast, and high pressure still dominating to the south. So what does that look like in a rainfall map for the next 7 days ahead? Well, like I say, this heavy rain in the east could still move north or south. But the heaviest rain is showing up just south of Sydney and just south of Brisbane. mostly capturing the coastal east of New South Wales. There'll be some thunderstorms in the mix here that will push further inland. So there's going to be some rain relief for those of you who need it further inland, Bathurst and Orange and places like that. But further to the west, Griffith, and further into South Australia, that rain just disappears. It is not there really for the rest of the continent. Just a few coastal showers here, not much in the Key, just a few millimetres coming through. But the western side of Tasmania has got a chance of 30 or 40 millimetres. But these rainfall totals around Sydney and up to Port Macquarie, if this holds true, you could be seeing 150 to 200 millimetres coming through next week. But like I keep stressing, that is not 100% locked in. It may still move around. We don't have a flight simulator flyover this week, but we will do it next week. I promise you that. We'll be back kind of getting closer to normal. Thank you again for all the lovely supportive comments, the funny ones. I love them. I love the smart-ass comments about me getting a facelift. If I've had a facelift, you're going to be very disappointed with what you see when I get back on camera. You'll be like, well, that was a waste of money. So it is definitely not that. But I've still got a bit of swelling around the eyes and other things like that. So it's not just a bit of a physical thing. It's also about how I feel. So I'm not quite there yet to do it, but I appreciate every one of your comments. Thank you so much. That is all from me for this week. I will see you again next week, hopefully on Monday, as per usual.